Welcome to the South Texas Amateur Tour Podcast, The Power Hour, with your hosts, Travis Salkowski, Dustin Hassan, Casey Graham, Jason Bird, and Michael Germanuelian.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Power Hour. Glad to be back. Good to be back. We are here. We are talking about all things tour. It's a good time to be alive. It's a good time to be playing golf on the tour. It is 7:32, Wednesday, June 19th. We are talking about Mission del Lago tonight, talking about what's coming up on tour. We got a bunch of new tournaments open for sign up and registration. Registration for Mission del Lago closed this afternoon. We've got some fun highlight stuff to talk about. We took a little trip. The executive committee, a small group of the tour executives and one of our ambassadors, took a small trip to Vegas over the weekend. Talked a little bit about that that trip, and we got a lot to talk about. No Travis tonight. Shouldn't be a crazy long show. But that being said, let's welcome our newest host. Co-host, newest member of the tour family, the tour team. If that, I don't want to say tour team, of the Power Hour team. Let's go ahead and bring out the man. We know him, we love him, but more importantly, he loves everybody else. Mr. Brad Gilbert.
What's going on?
What is going on, buddy boy? How you doing this evening?
Man, not too bad. Enjoying this rain, that's for sure. It's awesome.
It certainly is nice. We did not. I was home all day today. We had no daycare for the holiday that was today. So no daycare, and so I was home all day, and we did not see rain up here till like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So I got to play outside all day.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
So now we're enjoying the rain, which is great. Are you alive, recuperated from your weekend in Vegas?
Yeah, no, feeling good. I am getting old, so it does take a little bit longer to recover, but I think 2 days is the limit now. So
what time did you get home?
Let's see, I got in about 2 o'clock. I landed about 2 o'clock, and I didn't get home till like 2:30 a.m. So
okay.
Yeah,
Well, you made good time. Like we landed at 1 o'clock, and I didn't get home till 2:15.
Oh,
dude, my golf bag was the last bag to come off of the airplane.
Same.
And Austin has the oversized area. So that's where my bag was, and it just took forever. And I was dragging ass.
Yeah.
And then I was up at 7:30 to get Emma to daycare and go through all that stuff. But for those of you who do not know, we had a trip out to Vegas this weekend. Fun little ambassador trip. Myself, we had myself, Travis, Jason, who was already there for work, and Mr. Brad Gilbert came along with us. Stayed at the Virgin, just off the Strip. Really beautiful hotel, but more importantly, we were there to play some friggin' golf. And we got to play some pretty cool golf in general. I mean, this being your kind of view for 2 days on a golf course is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Played a golf course, Coyote Springs, about 30-45 minutes outside of Vegas. Absolutely pure. I mean, I think you finally got to experience like golfing with us, where it's like when we go to do stuff like this, like we go places where they see like 25 people a day.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was immaculate. The course was amazing. I know you guys were thinking those greens were on the slower side, but man, they were pretty quick and they were pure. So
I mean, they rolled quick, but Cascada obviously was significantly faster. I think even looking back, you pair them side by side, it's like, okay, yeah, they felt slow day of, but they felt slower after a round of Cascada where you're just kind of watching the ball just go by the hole.
Yeah, for sure. And I played almost yesterday with Laws and Roger Murray. And I can tell you those greens are not nearly that fast.
I mean, not nearly that fast. You played. I mean, not that it's a concern for you. You've got the big stick. You could bomb the shit out of the ball. But I mean, we weren't playing from short distances. I mean, we were playing 7,500 yards both days. I mean, we finished Cascada hole 16, I think, played 490-yard par 4.
Yeah, that was crazy. But I mean yeah, we played pretty good, and it was, I definitely want a different crack at it because I can never play a golf course well the first time and that got me thinking. It's like I got to know like where my misses are going to be, and I got to know like what's over there, what's around the greens, and it's almost like playing blindly when you play a course for the first time, even though we had a caddy and you guys had played it before, and
I'd never played Cascada before. That kind of course is where I don't typically have trouble playing new golf courses when they're pretty straightforward, right? Like Coyote Springs, I'd never seen Coyote Springs and kind of made easy work of that course.
Sure.
Where I get jammed up pretty good on a first time or second time at a golf course is when you get into the elevations and blind shots that we had at Cascada, which are like, when you're way up high and you're trying to judge that tee shot to not fly the fairway or to hit that specific mark, or even those shots where it's like, okay, I'm going uphill 20 yards, additional distance, but the putt's still downhill at the end of the day because everything's going down there. It gets really chaotic. That's where I get kind of caught up more than anything on the golf course. So Cascada was definitely the hardest, which is crazy to think that it has an easier slope, that the slope rating is easier than at Coyote.
I agree. I can tell you that first green at Cascada blew my mind because I was just off the back of the green putting what looked to be a pretty flat, it was about 80 feet. I actually Googled Earth it and measured it out. And it was about 80 feet away. And like, normally I would just fly the 60, like halfway there with some spin and, be good. But this caddy's telling me to land it like 6 feet in front of me just on the green. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I was like, all right, he must know what he's talking about. So I landed at about, 6 feet short, and it literally rolled about 70 feet, nestled right up to the pin. It was crazy.
You hit some shots there. I mean, that was one of the things, like and you've always been good like this, but you can take that kind of coaching and take that like insight from the caddy.
Yeah.
And like, I might have argued with him a little bit.
No,
and I definitely didn't agree with him on some of the things that we were doing. But like, man, you put some trust in him, and more importantly, you executed the shot he needed, and you hit some of the friggin' best chips I've ever seen, considering what those greens were, the slopes. That little short-sided chip that you had to hit down slope into this little bowl area, like on that longer par 5 or on the shorter par 5, excuse me. I mean, you hit some pretty cool shots there. That golf course was just amazing in general.
Yeah, for real. I just need a clear picture, and if someone can give me a clear picture, and that's why when I played last year with Andre as my caddy, like, he helped me out tremendously. We talked through everything, and I just realized I didn't put a lot of thought into my shots whenever I was trying to hit most of my shots, So it just makes you think that, maybe we could all, think about it just a little bit more, get a clear picture before we execute.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's such a good point. I mean, I think, especially, and I argue, and I say this all the time. I said this to you during the trip. I say this to everybody when it comes to tour travels. Like, if you really want to get better at golf, like obviously spend time at the range, go
yeah,
practice fundamentals, go practice the things that you're not good at.
for sure.
But the greatest thing about these trips, and what I always enjoy about these trips, is not only do we play difficult courses, but we play them from difficult pins,
Yeah.
like pins and distances. Like we always seem to get Cascada played super long, and our caddy was like, I've been caddying here for a while. I have seen one of these pins before
Yeah.
at this golf course. Everything is tucked tight and dirty. Like
And,
I have to
and-
imagine almost felt almost wide open and as easy as could be after coming home from.
Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of tour travels. That's the beauty of like anytime you get to go travel for golf and get to go put yourself in a position to go play something different, whether it is distances, whether it is greens, the different kinds of grass, like learning under those different things. It's all unteachable moments. That's stuff that we talk about all the time. So really cool, and had a blast hanging out with you all weekend. Aside from good golf, we got to hang out, have breakfasts, lunch, dinners, time at the casino. For those of you out there who don't know, Travis recently, in the last 12 months, 18 months, recently turned me into a gambling addict.
And that's one of my regrets, MD. That's one of my regrets, not sitting with you at your blackjack table.
I mean,
it's all good.
You guys were having fun.
Oh yeah.
You guys for not winning money were having far more fun than I was having for making money.
Yeah.
Like I kept turning around, like my dealer Hunter. I flew in on Friday night. You guys came in Saturday morning. And so I hit the tables early. I was up a couple of grand after the first night. My dealer, Hunter, loved that dude. Super chill, super cool. But the moment I saw him walk into the hotel before we went to go grab dinner, I was like, I don't care. I don't know what table he's going to be at, but I'm going to go sit with him. Because he sat at the free bet table.
Yeah.
He was working the table you guys were playing that night. And I'm like, okay, I have to go sit with him. And he was at the other table. You guys were doing the free bet. And I'm like, I gotta go sit with Hunter. I gotta go sit with my boy. And he was the best example. Like I love a dealer who wants you to win and has fun and talks. Like a dealer who just sits there and doesn't say a word to me kind of makes me a little bit like worried.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah.
Bird doesn't mind it, but I mean, I need someone to give me like a fist bump if I friggin' hit something stupid. Like, I mean, I hit blackjack on a $650 hand.
Nice.
And like my dude was losing his shit when I did it and just having a blast with it. I'm like, yeah, this is exactly the experience I needed. This is perfect.
That's awesome.
I think we all kind of agreed that was about as perfect and about as perfect a trip to Vegas as we could have made it. As painless, seamless. Like everything was good.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was a good time.
So glad to be back. Glad to have gotten some. I think we all needed a little bit of a rest and recoup heading into now what is a multi-week stretch of golf tournaments coming up, not only for the Greater Hill Country Division but also the Trail. We kick off the Southside Sizzling Summer Swing. Say that 5 times fast. We kick off at Mission Del Lago this weekend, this Sunday. Registration just closed for that tonight. First notice should be out probably looking tomorrow night, with second notice probably on Saturday. Tell me your thoughts on prep for Mission Del Lago. Obviously, this is the first stroke play event of the season. You are, by all accounts, a heavy favorite going into the summer season to make the team in the summer season. You've been playing incredible golf. How are you preparing for Mission Del Lago? How do you look at that golf course? How do you prep for it? How do you feel about going into the summer season now? Tell us what you're doing to get ready for this.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to Mission Del Lago. It's always in great shape. I enjoy that course. I enjoy that course more and more every time I play it. And I hear some good stuff about it. That it's in really good shape right now, which I'm not surprised. But yeah, no, I'm just probably gonna get a practice round in beforehand, maybe late Friday, maybe Saturday. Um, uh, I would be at San Pedro right now, but the rain. So instead of hitting balls, what I do um, uh, when I'm working at home and at my home office or whatever at night, I just work on swing positions. I just got a club in my living room, and I just swing slowly. Because I've got a couple things that I'm working on. I want to see certain positions, and I'm just going to do that. And that seems to work pretty good for me. I feel like I don't have to hit a ton of balls, to get better, to groove the swing, but I do need to, swing a club slowly, work on swing position, stuff like that. So that's going to be a big part of my practice.
How do you build out, like, do you put a game plan together for like each golf course? Like, okay, I'm playing Mission this week. Here's how I got to kind of go work my way around that golf course. Here's kind of what I want to shoot.
Yeah. I'm kind of over the top, I think. Maybe not, but I'll go on Google Earth, say Friday or Saturday before the tournament, and just do a refresher. I've got a pretty good game plan of every course that we play on the trail, but I'll pull up Google Earth and just look at each hole individually. Say, oh yeah, this is where I need to miss it. This is the fattest part of the fairways. Stuff like that. So yeah, I'll do a refresher before every tournament. There's Jeffrey.
I mean, it's probably because there's not a lot of Johns out on the golf course, Jeff. Like, it's going to be hard for you to get anything done. As a hooker of the ball myself, you can manage that golf course. I believe in you, but when you're ready to just settle down and be my caddy, finally, I can show you that it can be done.
Well, Jeff's gonna go out there. Jeff's gonna go out there and shoot good today. I feel like this tournament. I feel like I think you're right, Jeff, because I have that's my miss right now as a hook right now as well, and I feel like if I can get off the first tee without snapping it left into the houses, then it's a little bit more easy, or it's a little bit easier to digest that course. So you just got to get off to a good start.
Yeah, I mean that first hole, I mean, it always plays a little bit more challenging, but I mean, I think as someone who hits a draw, I actually love starting that hole just because I'm kind of aiming down the left or down the right side of the fairway and just letting the ball move back over, and not necessarily as concerned about losing it out too far left. But I mean,
for sure,
dude, if the tee box is up, you could drive the green. I feel like you could just. You can just freaking just drive the whole thing. Yeah. I mean, I watched you spank some tee shots this weekend that, like, our caddy, like, everyone in our group immediately went, holy shit. Like, not planned. No one meant to do it at the same time, but that was just the gut reaction that we had to have.
Nah, it helps to...
Because it was so hyped.
It helps to have a little bit of anger behind you after hitting so many bad shots, but every once in a while I can get after them.
I mean, you're hitting that. I mean, you're hitting that TaylorMade driver like a friggin' beast.
I love it. I know you guys are big on the smoke, but man, I love that QI10.
You know me. I have no true allegiance.
Well, I mean, you're automatic with your driver, so you have nothing to worry about.
Like I said, if I could find 20 more yards, I'd be just. I mean, my life golf would be immediately easier if I could find 20 more yards and still manage to keep it in the fairway like I do.
Yeah, for real.
I'm fine playing it back a little bit if I'll sacrifice the distance to keep myself in the short grass.
Shoot, yeah, man, you make it work.
But I mean,
Jeff mentioned
Mission. Oh, go ahead.
I saw the comment. Jeff mentioned. Is he saying number 7? Is
7?
Yeah. Is that what you're saying, Jeff? Because that hole is. I don't even know how to play that hole.
I I play 7. I think I just play 7 over the tree line. Like I just aim down the right side at the trees. I'm like, worst, my miss is going to be a straight ball.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm gonna hit my draw.
And then you might hit.
And I'm far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still. I'd rather. I mean, I'm just aiming right and aiming out at that tree line.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
otherwise, it's like, I mean, maybe take a 3-wood, but I mean, I think that golf course, take it full blast. Like take the driver, rip driver.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think it's very easy to miss that green. I think you want to get as close as possible with the driver, like you said, because anything else, you're going to be further back and you're going to have a tougher approach shot with that bunker, and then you got water long, right?
I mean, I think anything inside 120 yards is a good place to be on that hole.
Yeah.
I think if you're 150 or further, and with the pin anywhere on the back half of the green,
that's tough.
It is a stressful little shot to hit.
Yeah.
Because that thing can jump on you quick.
I agree. So Jeff, if you're not aiming over the tree line, probably just aim a little bit further right and just let it rip.
Yeah, I mean,
That'll be our
just swing away, Johnny. Just swing away.
But
Mission, shout out to those guys. They always do a good job making sure the courses is in best condition possible for us. I'm excited to get out to Mission. We haven't played Mission, I feel like, in a while. And I love Mission. And we've got a nice little lineup here, starting out with Mission. Then we get back to Riverside. Riverside will be cart. We'll have carts for Riverside, so
nice.
Not going to have to worry about walking that in the heat.
I'll probably still
Speaking of heat, I think that was the first thing I noticed coming back from Texas. Back to Texas. I don't know about you. In Vegas, we're playing, it's 110 degrees. And as long as we had water, it was, I mean, Bird and I were talking about it on Saturday. Like, in what world is it 110 degrees, but I've played with the same glove and it's not soaking wet?
No humidity at all. It was amazing.
I walked off the airplane and from the friggin' terminal to my car. I was like, fuck. I took a shower at Cascada thinking like this was all I needed for the day.
Yeah.
I got home at 2 o'clock, 2:15. I'm like, I gotta go jump in the shower.
Yeah. That's the word.
But that being said, we all know Mission, it always seems to feel just a little bit hotter in Mission.
Yeah.
Just make sure they're always gonna do their part. Making sure that we have water out on the golf course, but please make sure if you are playing this weekend at Mission Del Lago, bring water, bring sunscreen, bring the electrolyte packets, bring cooling towels, bring cooling fans, bring whatever you need to stay cool and stay safe in this heat. It's just the world we're in right now. It's summer. We've all been sitting there saying, no, we can't wait for it to be hot again. It's going to be great. And then all of a sudden we're all like, oh my God, we're going to die.
Yeah. And what I've done in the past couple of tournaments, MD, is actually I've taken like a 30-ounce bottle of water, put my electrolytes in it, and then I freeze it the night before. And I've got a little can cooler that I throw it in there. Yep. And by hole 11 or 12, it's thawed out enough to where it's just absolutely perfect. So
I'm doing an IV on Saturday most likely, just to get myself completely rehydrated, because I don't think we couldn't drink enough in Vegas. No matter what we did, we were still, Cascada, I think I drank like 3 Red Bulls, 3 Gatorades, and like 18 bottles of water, and I still was dehydrated.
Yeah, I hear you.
So like I'm gonna start prepping. Like I'm already kind of prepping. It's a lot of liquid IV. I'm gonna go get an actual IV done on Saturday and kind of try and just really get myself in the best position possible. Because I think, coming off of, I said it on the show last week, or I know I've said it before, but like being hydrated, being able to stay in the golf mentally when it's that hot and that humid and that ugly out, like that's what helped me have an advantage last season. Like it made it easier for me to play in those tournaments and to not feel the stress coming down the stretch. So I'm like, okay, I'm hydrated. I'm okay. I can continue to make the same swing that I started the day with. I'm not making a dehydrated, struggling swing, and I'm just mentally drained at the end of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Takes it out of you
So it
quick,
plays a huge part. Huge part.
for sure.
So mission is coming up. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to get out there. We also have what else do we have coming up? Let's review that one. We've got Riverside, and then we have a makeup round in between. This is not the updated one.
The 20th, right?
We have on the 20th. That is correct. So we have a makeup day at Almost for a 2-person best ball, and then Almost again for stroke play. So we've got a couple of tournaments coming up. We've got plenty to sign up for. Make sure we've got the Greater Hill Country signed up as well. We've got the Makeup 9999 event, which is opened again for registration if anyone wants to get signed up. Anyone who was signed up was automatically rolled in and signed up for the event again. But we've got Valor open for sign up and registration. We've got the 9999 open, which is going to be super cool. We've got Riverside open. Mission just closed. I believe Almost 2-person is open again. So lots to sign up for too, which is awesome right now. We're still only one event into the summer season, so point standings don't really exist right now. If you won last week, if you won 2 weeks ago, you are number 1 in point standings. Congratulations. So it is kind of where we're at. How are you feeling? Obviously you had a really good season in spring season. Talk to us a little bit about the adjustments or kind of the game plan that you've set for yourself coming into the summer season.
Let's see.
Anything specific around, any adjustments that you're making in your game, any adjustments that you're making in course management, any adjustments that you're making just in general, how you attack golf or how you kind of manage your game in general?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, because at the first of the season, I was, or before the season, I did some swing changes, and there were some very specific things that I was working on. And it's crazy because I just kind of got away from that, and I could feel my swing, just getting out of whack. And and for the longest time, I was wondering why, because I felt like I was doing the same thing over and over again. But like just last night, I was working on a swing position, and it just occurred to me that I had completely stopped doing whatever I was doing before in the first of the season, and I'm, to be honest, I'm kind of excited, because going back to that, it feels like I kind of fixed it. I kind of fixed something. Yeah. So I'm kind of excited to see if it translates into the scores. But yeah, what about you? How are you preparing for the summer season?
I mean, my game feels about as solid as it can right now. Working on little things here and there, a little bit of ball strike, and trying to be a little bit better about my long irons. I think are my out of everything right now, my biggest weakness is probably in the long irons, which isn't historically been an issue for me, but in recent months, it's kind of been a little bit of trouble, and it's a little bit to do with some of the equipment changes I've made, and I'm slowly getting used to those. But it's really the only adjustments I'm really making. I'm really just focused right now on just trying to continue to shoot good scores and just stay competitive. Like, you got the likes of Steven Evans and Jeremy Jaramillo and some of these guys that are just so consistently good.
Yeah.
I have certain goals for myself this season. I'd love to win a gross champ flight event,
for sure.
and try and find a 3 or 4 under round out there, which I think I can.
Yeah. Too.
We were on the verge of it at Coyote, and
yeah.
I know I've got that in the bag. But I mean, for the most part, it's just continue to just grind on the practice, really. Like, I don't want to lose the basic fundamentals of what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's really that, and just go out and have some friggin' fun, man. Like, it's tough to win the summer season. It's tough to win the spring season. Like it's, get inside the top 10 again, go to the playoffs, kick some ass, have some fun, and make the team. That is the only thing I care about. I want to make this team. And that starts with one, playing every friggin' tournament.
Yeah.
Playing well in those tournaments, and making sure that you show up every weekend ready to play, ready to put on a show. Because we are playing golf with some of the most talented golfers in San Antonio. We are playing on some of the most competitive. We're playing with some of the most competitive fields, probably in the state. I mean, it is. Yeah. You sit there and you go out and shoot 75, and that's, a great score. Like, I mean, that is statistically, you're in the top 1% of golfers.
Yeah.
In the world.
Yeah.
And that isn't going to get it done. And I love that. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah. But it's like, it's very competitive throughout all flights too. I mean, we have some serious competitors in every single flight. I mean, you got to deal with the champ fighters. I got to deal with Jeff Wern over here.
You got to deal with Kacheski.
Yeah, Kacheski, Donosky. I mean, there's
and that all ties back into equity across the flights. It all ties back into again, you can shoot. It's tough to explain to people sometimes. Like when I meet people that are like, I wish I could play golf competitively. Like, I wish I could play golf competitively, but I shoot like 90. Like, I can't do it. It's so hard to get them to understand, like, no, you can go play really competitive golf if you want
to. Absolutely.
And you can you can be a part of a team full of plus handicaps to 30 handicappers. It doesn't matter. But that level of equity across the flights, that level of competitiveness that's brought, it's awesome. I mean, it's so cool. Jeff never won an individual gross. Caddy for me. Let's go get an individual gross win together.
Not yet, Jeff. You're gonna get it. I played with you before. It's gonna happen for sure.
If you need a partner for a team event, I have an opening coming up.
Oh, dang.
My usual partner is breaking my heart. Not going to talk about it though.
Temporary.
Temporary. But I mean, winning gross is tough. Yeah,
for sure.
No matter what flight you're in, and I mean, you look at some of the scores that go out around there these days. Like, I mean, dude, I've been playing on this tour consistent. I don't think I've missed a tournament since maybe 2018, but I've been playing since 2013. And like second flight, first flight, you used to go out and shoot like, if I was I used to be in champ flight, shoot 77 and I can still get like second place, third place. Like that was where we were at one point. Now it's like, oh, you want to win champ flight? You got to go shoot 4 under par. Oh, you want to win first flight? You got to shoot even 1 over. The golf is so freaking good. The people are so good. The players are just so good. I mean, there's sometimes like I look at first flight and I'm like, I'm glad I'm not first flight.
Yeah, for real. And on that same thing, it's like there was a period of time in my golfing career, I'd say career loosely, but where I let score identify like everything, but it's not, you wherever you're at is where you're at, and you can, if you focus on getting better from there, that's the main goal. If you're trying to break 80, I mean, that's the focus, right? If you're trying to break 90, trying to break 100, doesn't matter, just keep focusing on getting better,
And people forget a lot of times too, like if you are it's significantly harder when you are a lower handicap golfer. You look at guys like Steven Evans, you look at guys like Jeremy Jaramillo, you look at guys like Vidal and a lot of these guys that are really good golfers. you look at a lot, and it goes for most of the people in First Flight and to probably the top half of First Flight too in all of Champ Flight. It is tough to get leaps and bounds better in a short period.
Yeah.
It's really cool, and we can see it quite easily when you look at guys like Laz, you look at people like Morgan Graff, you look at some of those golfers that start out with higher handicaps, but they put in the effort and put in the work. It's so much easier. Well, I don't want to say it's easier because there's a lot of work that goes into it, but it's easier to see the progression in your game.
Exactly.
And see that steady gain of improvement in the higher handicappers to get into the lower handicap position. And it's something that you can take advantage of. Like this is probably my last season of really being able to ride out the last couple of years of golf. Because like realistically, like me at a 5.6 or whatever I'm at, probably wrong. Like I'm probably playing closer to a 2 or
some
a 3.
Of those higher scores are going to start dropping off, and you're going to be
and the higher scores are going to drop, and I'm going to be in trouble. Yeah. And that's the other piece of it too, is like, if you're playing better than your handicap right now, freaking keep playing your good golf, and it does eventually pay off. So,
for sure.
We've got a lot of fun. We got a bunch of amazing golfers. We got a bunch of amazing people out on the tour. We've got great competition. We've got great tournaments to be played. I'm so excited for Mission Del Lago. I love stroke play events. It is my favorite kind of format aside from alt shot. But this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm super excited to not really kick off the summer, I guess. But to be fair, we played a couple of weeks ago. We had nice weather. Now we're about to hit a nice stretch of heat and a nice stretch of, weeks and weeks of golf. This is where the summer season kind of goes into full swing and into that full, that 110% effort here.
Absolutely.
We're going to be talking about playoffs.
Yeah.
More and more. Like before we know it, it's like, hey, we got playoffs coming up. Hey, who's made? We're gonna be 2/3 of the way through, and it's like, okay, who's in the top 10 right now? Who's got a chance? Who's doing what? And the same thing on the Greater Hill Country division. We've got a couple of events left in the Hill Country division, and then it's playoffs at TPC. 2 days at TPC, which is going to be free.
That's gonna be awesome.
Top 50 players, I think, get an invite this year. So and
it feels
I'm
like
not getting to play in as many of those as I wanted, but I will be playing at TPC.
Yeah, good. It feels like it's been forever since we played a Hill Country event, because I think, Fort Sam was rained out.
Fort Sam was rained out. We've had a bunch.
Yeah,
we had a bunch of rainouts early on in the season, like an incredible amount of rainouts.
Yeah, Olympia was almost rained out. It was lightning and everything, but
Olympia was almost rained out for sure. Kissing Tree could have easily been rained out if we.
Yeah, for sure.
We grinded through that. We've got some events to make up, and it's only adding to the chaos of the summer. Yeah. But if I'm being honest, I kind of prefer it. Like I think it's tough. It's tough to go play like 8 straight days of golf. Like, hey, I'm going to go play 12 rounds of golf in 8 days.
Yeah.
It's a lot of freaking golf.
Yeah.
But I do love when we get on these 5 to 7 week stretches of tournaments where it's like, okay, I know I'm playing an event. I kind of get to build out my week around practice and kind of know where my focuses are. Go play a competitive event or go play a practice round and then play a competitive event. Take the time off and then jump back into it the next week. And it builds up that consistency. Now, I also think that playing, 3 or 4 days in a row is amazing practice, considering that, when we get to the playoffs, that's exactly what it is. It's back-to-back weekends, and if you make it to round 4, you have played, every single day, 2 Saturdays and Sundays in a row.
Yeah.
So you got to have that kind of endurance as well. So we've got, it's pretty exciting. And then what's Casey got? About to have 2 events in one day. That is true. That is the 9999 at Fort Sam.
Looking forward to that.
It's one event. I mean, it's one event in one day. It's just 36 holes of just intense golf. This is Jason's baby. He's wanted to do this event for forever. God, it's going to be chaotically amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
my partner, Charles Romero, it seems like I haven't seen him in forever. Haven't played with him in a while. We're going to have to play a practice round for sure.
There you go. I mean, that's what it kind of feels like too. Like, I do when we get to these points in the season where it's like, you know, we have a week off or 2 weeks off. Like, I'm so used to seeing everybody all the time.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I talk to Travis and Bird and you, and I talk to a couple of people daily, multiple times a day. Like, I probably talk to Travis like 4 or 5 times a day on the phone, aside from our texting bullshit. But like, if I go 2 weeks, I don't see other people. It just feels weird.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm used to. It's weird for me to go off 2 weeks and then just like randomly see Captain Kent, and I'm like, oh shit, I feel like I haven't seen you in a year.
Yeah, for real.
Like, it's nice to kind of get back in the swing of things and it getting busy and everyone's out there and everyone's having fun, and we've got a bunch of new golfers playing as well. We got golfers that are making their way back to the tour for the first time in years. You and I had that experience last weekend or 2 weekends ago.
A lot of new faces.
So a lot of new faces at Northern, a lot of red numbers at Northern. You know, I don't think we talked about it enough how well people played at Northern in a 666.
I agree.
Like, typically scores aren't really great there.
Yeah.
Like, individually, scores are tough. Like, I think we probably average, like, Champ Flight probably averages like a 74, 75 out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, Champ Flight for 666 was going super low.
7, 8 under, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Steven Evans and Jeremy Harmio is a disgustingly good team.
Nice.
It is.
That should be
it's like a Weldon Vidal kind of pairing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a scary group to see on the tee sheet.
I agree. But it's
and
cool.
An even tougher team to. I mean, if you have to play against them in the match, like if you have to play with them, it's even harder because you're sitting there like, wow, they're on a stretch of like 5 birdies. Like, I got to keep up with these guys.
Yeah.
And it's like you're making pars and stuff like that. It's just like, golly, they can good golfers like that. And I mean, it can drain you a little mentally. You have to be mentally tough to play with golfers like that.
Yeah. You got to use it as motivation instead of being frustrated about it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're good at turning frustration and anger into.
I'm not.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah.
Some people it does. Some people
it does.
But yeah, man. I mean, we've got it's one of those things. I'm just so glad that we're back. I'm so glad that we're getting ready to kick off the season. Yeah. We got a lot of good golf to play. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. You know, the courses, the trails, doing everything they can to make sure that the courses are in the best conditions possible for us. But we also know that, you know, the stuff that they're having to deal with on their end to make the courses, you know, playable. So let's all try and be nice and remember that, you know, they are not a $700 course in a place that water is easily gathered and used on a golf course to keep it green.
Exactly.
To Casey Graham's point, the rain will help. It's going to be nice.
For sure. And I will, you know, I'm just not the person that I'm not going to be negative about, you know, course conditions or whatever. And I will say, like I said, I played almost yesterday, and they were just closed last week, I believe, for, you know, green stuff. And I don't know if anyone else has seen, but on the par 4, the drivable par 4 on the back, I think 13, 14, that tree is cut down now, which is crazy.
No shit.
Right by the green.
On that left side?
To the right of the green.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, what I was meant to say was those greens, it looks like they're going to be ready for when we get there. I mean, it's great. The work that they've done to it. Number 2 green is open again. That was pretty cool. It's good to see. And then I think they only have one temporary green on number 15. But I can see some improvement there. So they're trying.
I mean, they went through and pulled the grass off the practice area,
Yeah.
off the practice green to get the course a little bit under control.
Yeah.
I mean, Casey's got that question of interesting. I wonder if it was diseased inside. I mean, it very well could be.
Yeah, it was number 14.
Really
the tree right at the green on number 14. So that's driver all day now. So
Oh yeah, that is very easily driver all day now without a whole lot of fear. But that's super. I mean, it's sad to see. I do like the trees. I love
Yeah.
the protection that they offer and the extra challenge that they offer.
for sure.
But I mean, if they're gonna go cut a tree, go fucking trim the tree on 16 at Brack.
Yeah, right.
Someone go cut that thing down. Don't cut it down. Just
don't wanna-
drop it 7 feet, 8 feet lower.
I mean, you're absolutely right. It was back in the day when that was a par 4 coming back the other way, and that tree was on the right side of the fairway. It was it was in a good spot, but yeah, I have trouble with that tree every single time now. I don't even know how to play that hole.
I mean, when we played it, I missed clearing it by about 6 inches. And that was the difference between me having a pretty okay possibility to go make birdie and me very easily making double.
Yeah.
I mean, that tree is just bonkers mean.
Yeah. I can't get it's like I could hit the driver high enough unless you put that tree in front of me. And then for some reason, I just got a mental block. I cannot get it up quick enough. So I don't know. It's so crazy.
And Mr. Aiken chiming in 72 gross winds if the winds are over 15.
Okay.
I still think it would be lower. I would say if winds are 15, I still like a 69 out there. I think 72 is a good number, but I think someone's going to go out there and shoot 2 or 3 under. Like at this point, I assume you gotta go 1 to 3 under to win minimum.
Yeah.
Unless it's Jeremy or Steven or Seth having a day and you got to go shoot 64 to win.
Well, I was planning on shooting 65 or 66, so we'll see. But
There
look,
you
the
go.
forecast shows winds out of the east at 10 miles per hour, Jonathan. So need to update that forecast.
I don't know what the wind was doing at Cascada, but if we can play that shit, I am no longer worried about wind.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I didn't realize how windy it was until I went back and looked at one of the videos I took of the Rams that were running around, and you could just hear the wind just pounding, and I'm just like, huh. You just don't hear it as much, but it is really, really there, isn't it?
One of the best.
I felt it on the tee boxes.
Yeah, one of the best drives I hit was into that wind, and I mean, without the wind, it probably would have gone 315 or so, but it went straight up in the air and probably went 240. It's crazy.
Jonathan Aiken is updated.
Oh,
under 15 miles an hour, 70 winds.
Okay,
it's within the number. I think I'm going to say 69 and a half is the line, and I'm going to say the under. But yeah. In case of Graham Cascada, and the wind can be tough. We survived it. We survived Cascada, but God bless America. Playing up the side of a mountain is tough. Casey Graham confirming he will be in the 60s with 4 holes to play.
No, there you go.
That's a great way to think about it too. I shot I was in the 60s today. And then I had to play 15, 16, 17, and 18.
And that is one thing I was thinking about, trying to change up and just breaking it down into like 6 holes. Like, okay, I want to be no more than 1 over in these 6 holes, and then just refocus for the next 6 or whatever,
See, that was my coach in high school was always the same way. He's like, go play golf as if you're going to go play 3 holes. If you are 1 over through 3 holes that plays at 6 over, you're going to shoot 77, 78. And for Illinois, that'll win a golf tournament. Like he was like, that's fine. And same thing. Like now I kind of, I don't necessarily have that game plan all the time, but I do think to myself like, okay, if I start out with like 3 bogeys or some bullshit, like I'm sitting there to myself like, okay,
I'm done.
I want 1 bogey for every 6 holes.
Yeah.
So like, okay, I've already made my 3 bogeys. I got to go play the last, however many holes under par or better.
Yeah, for sure.
And I typically that's what I end up doing more often than not. Like I have stupid starts that happened 4 different rounds when we were on tour travels. I started off with 4 bogeys in a row or worse, and then played the last 15, 14 holes at 1 to 2 under par every time.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting.
So
I kind of do the same thing in that I keep track of a lot of my stats and stuff too. So. And right now I can't. It seems like I can't put 2 nines together. So if I shoot a bad front 9, I literally tell myself on the 10th green, "Well, I got that 9 out of the way. Now it's time. Now it can only get better from here." Because statistically speaking, over the history of kind of how I've been playing lately, the back 9 can only be better. So I don't know if I'm psyching myself out to play better on the back, but
no, I think that's a really good call out because that's something. Travis and I talked about that last season. We talked about that last season after the spring season because we went back and looked at my tournaments, and I was averaging like a 42.6 or some bullshit on the front 9 of every stroke event. But then I was averaging like a 37.5 on the back 9s. So my issue was just getting started.
Yeah, for sure.
And so like that's where I put so much effort in. And I went through and I've had the tour travels events and plenty of events in this season where, and I keep track of these stats pretty aggressively, but like this season, I'm, maybe a little bit higher average on the back 9 because I was playing really good last year, like 37.5 was pretty solid.
Yeah, for sure.
But I dropped that front 9 down 2 strokes, 3 strokes. I mean, that momentum into the back 9, you maybe only play better, if not, stay at least consistent.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a really big thing. I know Casey and I have had this discussion to all ends of the earth here, where he is very green and reg focused.
Yeah.
No matter what, he's always, like I saying it right there. No matter what, he wants 18 greens in reg. Because I've argued like I like fairways. I always kind of look at my fairways in regulation. Or my fairways hit, because in my mind the greens should be easier for me to hit from the fairways, so I always focus on my fairways. But I mean, I've actually spent a lot of time between talking to Casey about it and reading more and doing stuff. Like greens in reg have become huge for me, but I also know like we're playing at times where I have to play long irons, which is where I'm struggling. So my wedges have to be friggin' lights out. My wedges and my putter have to be, perfect. Because like I think when we played Northern last season, and I won at Northern, I missed half the greens in regulation.
Mm-hmm.
I shot even, missed half the greens in regulation. I got up and down 7 out of 9 times or 8 out of 9 times.
Probably had like 28 or 29 putts or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like,
I
think I chipped in, and then I had a couple of shots where it's like one hop, stop it by the pin, and just tap it in.
Yeah.
And that's because I was struggling with the long irons, so my greens and reg kind of suck, but I'm hitting the fairways, and I know that if I'm gonna miss, like I never miss long.
Yeah.
That always is my thing. Like if I don't think I can get, I think that's the other thing that people don't talk about nearly as much, is when like they're playing a golf course that they just are going to get maybe overpowered by it because of the sheer distance.
Yeah.
Like, but they know they're good wedge players and stuff like that. There's times where people are like, I'm just going to go for the green. If I end up in the bunker or whatever, I can get out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you notice playing with me, but like there's a lot of times where it's like, especially on the long par 4s, I just play it to like inside of 30 yards.
Absolutely.
And if I can get inside of 30 yards, I know from my own, because I keep track of every score, every round, I keep that data. I know that I have like a 78% chance of getting up and down right now.
Yeah.
To get up and down from inside of 30 feet, hitting off of a good lie, in good position.
Absolutely.
And that statistically is going to yield me a higher result than me saying, okay, it's 200 of the hole. It is 193 yard carry.
Yeah.
And I've got to factor this and that into it. Like, I don't have the distance that you guys have to take on some shots.
Sure.
That I mean, I watched you guys hit shots this weekend where I'm just like, holy shit. I was like, that shot never even would come to my mind.
But yeah, that's a good point, because if you have a short game, like if you have a good short game, you can get out of most, trouble. And there's most of the time, if I can't tell you how many times I come up to a green, I think I hit the green, but it's just on the fringe, and I'm relieved because now I can chip it, and I'm pretty confident that I'm going to chip it in. I'm more confident that I'm going to chip it in than I'm going to make the putt from whatever distance, So,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's always been something I've always felt like. And I think it's also just a mentality of like, if I miss a green, like I'm just off the green, or I just barely missed the green, or even if I've left myself a longer shot in, like I walk up to that as confident as can be about hitting that next shot. Cause I'm like, I know I'm friggin' solid with my wedges.
Yeah.
And even if the wedge shot isn't perfect, I know I'm rock star. Well, I know I'm pretty good with the putter. Because you got guys like, I mean, Casey Graham said it in the comments. I think he's not giving himself enough credit as a wedge player. I think he's got a pretty decent wedge game.
Yeah, I agree.
But that being said, the man putts lights out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to spend 30 seconds in his head as he deals with trying to read that putt.
Yeah.
But he can read them like a motherfucker, and he makes everything he looks at.
Yeah,
Steve Evans, though, 3 putts. I mean, which I think is also just critical. I mean, again, I think a lot of the higher handicappers may not recognize, and I've had several conversations with third and fourth players where they've asked me a question about something, and I'm like, well, dude, think about how many shots you're taking around. I mean, we know this because we've been playing golf long enough, and we know where the stats are. But inside 100 yards, like that's where the bulk of your shots are coming from.
Yeah, for sure.
Like in your wedges and your putter. I mean, my dad, and I assume he's not watching, but my dad is not a long ball hitter. My dad's one of those guys, like his backswing makes John Rahm look over the top long.
Really?
Oh yeah. But my dad friggin' pipes it right down the middle every time. Sure. It's not something he has to worry about. When he gets inside 100 yards, dude's scary good. Like stupid.
Yeah.
Like I had the opportunity. I did get the opportunity this weekend. I do want to call out that I got to feel like him hitting a freaking driver on a par 3. I think that might have been the first time since like middle school or high school that I had to hit a freaking driver at a par 3.
You parred it though, so that's all that matters.
I did part it, but that was so stupid. That's craziness. But I do totally agree with Steven Evans. No 3 putts. Sure.
And he's saying, he wants to hit the green, and Casey was saying he wants to hit the green, Drago. I can tell you that 100% of the time that I miss a green, it's because I don't have a clear picture of where, there is technique involved, right? There's, you got to work on your technique, but if you don't have a clear picture of where you want to hit that ball, there's a good chance you're not going to hit, you're not going to hit the green, you're not going to hit the fairway or whatever. So
it's the aim small, miss small mentality.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think a lot of people just don't really truly grasp that. I know I didn't for the longest time up until just recently, but it's crazy how my worst rounds are purely because I don't have a clear picture when I'm trying to hit whatever it is, the driver, iron, putt, chip, whatever it is. So I would just say, when we're all out there at Mission Del Lago, before we commit to hitting anything, let's get a clear picture of what we're trying to hit and just execute the best you can. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. I mean, that's such a good call out. And I think there's so much that can be gained just by taking the extra. Now, we all know, pace of play is important and that kind of thing, but we also know, like, take the extra. Don't take an extra minute to figure stuff out.
Exactly. Well,
Take
think about
the
it
extra
when,
5 seconds. Take the extra 10 seconds.
and when you're coming up to the ball, right? Instead of oh, there's a squirrel over here. Start thinking about, oh, well, where's this pen at? I mean, you can fit that into just the regular routine.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, some people need to move a little bit quicker, and sometimes they get lost in like the process of getting it set up and just making sure that that's perfect. And they need to work on maybe, trusting the swing a little bit more. There are people who move super quick that need to take a couple of seconds just to make sure that they're lined up. I mean, I know that's probably actually going back now. I think that's probably the biggest thing I'm working on this year, because I feel like I'm the fastest golfer I know. Like, I will just walk up, hit it, and go. Like, I don't want to be over that ball any longer or think about it any longer. But I do really need to spend. I really do just need the extra 5 seconds to just say, okay, hey, did I pick my target? Did I pick that little spot in front of me, 6 inches, a foot out, that I want this to start over? Like, am I doing that? The rounds that I'm being proactive, like, in having that one swing thought or that one thought in my head, are the rounds I play stupendously better.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's a lot of different things, and I think that's stuff that we need to talk more about. I think we will talk more about that as going forward, especially into the summer. But guys, we are also going to be trying something new here. If you are interested in having your golf swing roasted, if you're interested in having your golf swing analyzed, if you're interested in asking, maybe you have some very specific questions about rules, about certain golf equipment. If you have, things that you guys want to talk about, shoot us an email, info@stxamptour.golf. We'll keep track of those. If you have a video that you want us to analyze, we'll analyze it live on the show the following week. If you want to talk about, if you have questions or anything, interesting that you feel like we haven't talked about on the golf stage yet, whether it is talking about equipment, talking about tournaments, questions about rules, anything like that, shoot an email. Would love to have you guys get more involved and kind of talk more about the things you want to talk about. I'll be honest with you, Brad. Like, I mean, my goal for tonight was to have a 30-minute show, because we didn't have a lot to talk about in my mind. And once we find something fun to talk about, an interesting topic, something that we can kind of engage everybody in, or even just ourselves, just to talk more about it. It goes. I mean, the time goes by quick.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say real quick, Andy, I do want to clarify that a lot of people are different. Casey made the comment of roasting his swing. Like, we need to just say, like, if you want it to be serious, or if you want it to be a roasted or whatever.
Yeah, let us know if you want an actual analyzation.
Yeah,
Travis will be more than happy to help.
Exactly. Yeah, we really want to encourage everyone and help everyone to get better, whatever that looks like, because everyone responds differently. I know I'm not a big fan of getting my swing roasted. I'm more like, I want to be told what I'm doing wrong, and maybe what I could do better. But so there's different ways to approach it. So when you send it in, just, if you want to clarify, roast me, don't roast me, whatever, we'll totally respect whatever that is.
And if you have questions, like, again, if you want us to answer questions around different processes, like in a tournament, different ways to go about getting, higher level education or instruction. Brian Richter, who plays on the tour, came up to me. I had talked about the mental golf side. I talked about that, and I talked about some of the books that I listened to, and kind of those refreshers, because, like, for me, like, the mental side of golf was always my biggest challenge. That's where I've always put the most effort in. And Brian came up to me at Northern Hills, and he's like, "Hey, man, I've already listened to like 2 of the books you recommended. I feel a million times better. Like, shit kind of clicked." Like, to me, that was the coolest thing on the planet, because I'm like, okay, like, people deal with this shit, not just me.
Exactly. Because ultimately this, we're all competing against each other, but man, this is a tour family that, I mean, I want nothing more than to see, Roger Murray or Dale Beavers, Tim White, Lazaro, even, Dennis Donosky get better. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I want to, because I want to compete against the best version of them too. You know, because that's only going to make me better. So, I mean, we're all in this together. So.
Absolutely. This is a tour for the people. It always has been. This has been about making sure that you guys out there watching, and for everyone who's participated, is playing in a fun, competitive environment. They feel empowered to come out and play and feel like they can compete.
Absolutely.
And more importantly, we're all having fun when we're playing better golf.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing.
And we've got PGA, we've got professional instructors like Travis. We've got, some really good golfers. You've got guys that are extremely fluent in the swing and know a lot. If you look at Michael Freeman or some of the, if you ever get a chance to corner Carnes and pick his mind and pick his brain, it's ridiculous. Casey can teach you how to read a putt. I mean, it's stupid. I can teach you how to go find a golf club after you throw it, or the best way to send an email to the golf company and try and explain that the club is broken because of them, not because of you. I could probably help out with the mental side a little bit, but I mean, ask questions, come up, go to Brad, go talk to Brad about stuff. Brad's outlook and positivity, like, I'm not going to lie, that might be the biggest challenge I'll ever have. But playing with Brad, and I watch how he acts on the golf course, and I watch how he processes things, and I'm like, okay, I got to be like Brad a little bit.
No, nobody wants to be like me. It's just cool to hear different views from different people.
I do want to know how you grow the facial hair so beautifully.
Oh, how do I comb a mustache? This is just natural. I'll just let it grow. There's no combing involved. Just wake up and it looks like this.
Just wake up sexy. How do you chip in so many shots? Jonathan Harder. Shout out Jonathan Harder.
Oh, Jonathan.
Former STNPC partner player.
Man. That's I practice a short game mostly. That's pretty much anytime I hit balls, I'm chipping most likely. 99% of the time, if I'm hitting balls, it's chipping practice at Silverhorn practice green, which is probably the best practice green that I know of.
Jeremy's still trying to figure out when you want the flag in or out.
Always out.
I mean,
always out.
But I mean, it's again comes back to that short game stuff, man. More shots around the greens, more putts than anything else you're going to do. But again, info@stxamtour.golf. If you want us to review your swing and you want to ask Travis some questions, if you have questions for us, if you have topics and things that you want to talk about, if you just have general thoughts about what we're doing, feel free to let us know. Unless they're not positive, we only want positive feedback. So, I mean, that's where we're at. We love you guys. We're excited to be kind of kicking the summer into gear. I mean, it's just a great time. It's a great time. We're playing a lot of golf. We're having a lot of fun. Scotty Williams asking, what are we doing? Scotty Williams, thank you for joining the show at the 1:08 mark. Jesus. We're just saying how great it is to be on tour and how great it is that we get to play with amazing golfers, amazing people. We get to make amazing friends. But we are also, Scotty, doing we're asking people if they'd like to, have their swing reviewed by Travis live on air with some tips. If they'd like to have their swing roasted, if they'd like to ask us questions, have questions about the tour, about the rules, questions about the technology or the new golf equipment out there, whatever you guys want to talk about, let us know. We want to hear it. Travis and I talk about it all the time, which is like, we could talk to you guys and have a basic outline of we're going to talk about the golf event and we're going to talk about the winners and talk about the. If we find something cool to talk about or something that spurs on a good conversation, we go from a 30-40 minute show to an hour and 10 show, hour 20 show. And we get this awesome participation from all of our amazing people out there watching.
For sure.
So, That's what we're doing. But that being said, guys, that's all we got for you tonight. We appreciate everyone joining in on the conversation, getting some different insights and thoughts from people about how they approach their game, how they approach and practice. Brad on the show, we're making that a permanent installation. Love having you on. You bring just such a cool flair. I mean, everyone loves you. Every viewer is here tonight because it's you. They're like, when does MD turn off his camera and shut the fuck up?
No.
But Brad, appreciate you being on with us, man.
For sure. No, happy to join, man. And yeah, I just say, like, I mean, I was talking about this the other day with a couple of the guys that, I mean, the tour is just absolutely amazing. It's just having something to look forward to in the competition. You know, most people who know me know that I'm very introverted. I usually don't like to talk to anybody, but it's so cool every single tournament, just seeing everyone out there. It turns the extroversion, extroversion, whatever you want to call it, on for me. So I definitely look forward to every single tournament and just seeing everyone out there. So really looking forward to Mission del Lago, and just remember, get a clear picture, execute, and then just keep going.
Spoken like a man who knows how to win a couple of golf tournaments. Shout out Big Brad Gilbert. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. Remember, head over to stxamtour.golf. We got a bunch of tournaments open for registration. Get signed up early, get signed up quickly, as we are selling out. We just kind of just do that all the time these days. It's not I'll just send a quick email on Saturday and be in the field.
Sure.
You got to get on it. So go sign up. Go check out all of the live scoring for any tournaments that are in action. Go check out any of the scores from previous events. Go check out your handicaps. Handicaps are updated regularly as well, so that way you're not caught off guard when you go from a second flight into first flight. Things like that. Otherwise, shoot an email over to info@stxamtour.golf. Again, send us your videos, send us your questions, whatever it is. We'll have it on here. We'll do it. We'll talk about it. We'll have some fun, have some good conversation. And with that being said, guys, you guys have a great Wednesday night, and we will see you bright and early. Mission del Lago, 8 a.m. tee time starting for us there. We will have first notice players out tomorrow night, so be on the lookout for that as well. But aside from that, guys, thank you so much. Everyone have a good night.
Good night. Best of luck, everybody.
Night, everyone.